Think Cannabis event sponsored by Thinking North, and I'm with Asif Khan, the founder and CEO of GroundLevel Insights. Asif, thank you so much for joining us today. Give our viewers an introduction to GroundLevel Insights.
Yeah, so basically what we are is a data analytics play that's focused on location intelligence and location-based services. So essentially what we're doing is watching where consumers are going and then deriving insights from that. So where do they live, how far are they traveling, what are they buying, where do they go afterwards, all that sort of stuff based on what we call movement science or location intelligence around the industry, and then giving that through subscription model to the industry players to help them make business decisions. So.
And how do you compile all of this data?
So what we're doing is we're aggregating a number of different data inputs, some publicly available data like social media platforms, so we'll suck in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, analyze that. We'll buy some data in some cases from the mobile operators, so today if you go in Canada to Bell or Rogers or Verizon or AT&T in the States, you can actually buy data as to where people's phones are at any given time. Big Brother's watching. Yeah. We also have access to some Google Maps data, and then we're actually collecting our own first-party data by deploying sensors in retail dispensaries. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and things like that. And so we take all of that, aggregate it all together, pump it through an AI platform that is our core sort of science, if you will, and then out of that comes market research, competitive intelligence, et cetera.
So if I'm a producer or a retailer or distributor, what do I want to know from the data? What am I really looking for that you can provide?
Yeah, so it depends on which one of those you are, but I think if you're on the retail side, it's things like, where do my customers live, where are they coming from, how far are they traveling, are they bypassing the closest dispensary to where they live to go somewhere else because I don't have the right product selection, or they just don't want to be seen by their neighbors and friends. All of that kind of data is what we can tell a retailer. We can also help a retailer protect their business by controlling what appears on Google Maps. So when you go to search, we can make sure only legitimate retailers show up on the map, and all the illegitimate, illegal, fake dispensaries and all those are not appearing there, thereby drawing eyeballs and drawing traffic away from you. If you're like an LP, let's say like a Tilray or somebody like that, one of the things that we can do in that type of environment is we can help you understand what sort of affinity markets, branded products you should be going and doing deals with. As you may know, like for example, they went out and did a deal with American brands, but is that the right company? So what we can do is by watching the movements of consumers is we can say people who went to dispensary A also went to this retail business or flew out of the airport last month or did this, this, and this, which helps you understand what other businesses to partner with.
What is it about the, getting into cannabis? You said you've been doing this for a number of years. Yeah. So why do you think that this is important and perhaps even imperative in the cannabis sector?
I think two factors. I think, yes, this exists to a certain degree in traditional retail or hospitality or tourism and other markets. But what happens is that in those markets, it's very discrete services. So there's just the retail sensor piece or just the social media analysis or just this one aspect. Number one, we're aggregating all those things together into a single platform, which has never been done before. Number two, I think what's unique about cannabis, besides the fact that this data doesn't exist yet, and we're the first provider of such, is there's also a regulatory compliance component, which is different than regular retail or other things. And we can help with that to some degree in terms of looking at, for example, what people are posting on social media. If they go buy something and they post a photo on Instagram of the product they just bought from this retailer and, oh, look at all the fungus on it, and they're complaining and whining about it online, we're capturing all that, we're seeing all that, and we can actually feed that into the formal complaint process that the government cares about from a compliance perspective, right? So things like that become really unique use cases around this industry.
Right. So Asif, finally, looking forward, what are your plans for the company? Where would you like to take the company? Is there any upcoming catalysts?
Yeah, so for us right now, we're just completing this initial seed round of $1 million raise. The plan right now is to grow the business, start driving the revenues. We plan to be operational in the next 90 days in terms of starting to actually take customers on and start giving them those insights. But at the end of the day, like for us, Canada as an example, we're projecting only 7 to 8% of our revenue. So this is primarily a US, European play for us in terms of where the data use cases are going to come from. So it's really about how do we quickly get to those markets, how do we share kind of what we're doing. And the beauty is because I've been doing this for a long time, a lot of those relationships already exist in with the mobile operators or with the social platforms or with those other guys that make it easy to ingest data. So,
thank you so much, Asif. This has been really interesting.
Thank you. Appreciate the time and the opportunity.
Great.
Cheers.